Just give me a heads up when we're live. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this to be uploaded later recording of our wonderful teams here, the Baguettes and Team Fallen, our first seed squaring off against our ninth seed here today on the CTF Match Spotlight. Should be an interesting match between these two teams. It's going to be a 10v10. Rules and limits are going to be coming up here in chat, courtesy of Rejected. Notably, since it's 10s, there is a limit of only 2 ninjas, as well as 2 medics, elves, and chemists. 3 heavies and 3 soldiers are allowed, as well as 1 archer, 1 assassin, 1 engineer, 1 mage, 1 necro, 1 pyro, and 1 scout. With the dwarf and fashionista classes being banned, we're going to be starting here in 15 seconds. And the first thing I want you guys to pay attention to is the roster for TB this game. Should be an interesting squad, although there is a little bit of drama going on here as Team Fallen are trying to get rid of one of their members from the TB side of the match. But should be some interesting players on offense today, as a lot of the regular TB offense has not made it to this match. Notably, we'll see exactly what the roles are, but we should see Border 96 starting on Medic today, Calig on Soldier, and we already have an immediate ninja steal for Recovs going out far side. He's made it over towards his own spawn, skipping the heavy, and passing off immediately to Calig. Looks like TB is going to be going for a very fast first capture here. I don't think any Team Fallen steals are too threatening right now. In fact, I don't think they're going to be able to make it to the flag room at all, as Blaze is being crit out, and XXXX only just made it into the room now. Lolo has a backup steal. You may know him better as Male123, but he goes down as well inside the flag. So Team Fallen stabilizing for the moment, but again, unfortunately not covering the flag well enough to stop the immediate ninja steal from Recovs. We're going to see a little more of the offense here. They've got Male and Border on Heavy and Medic, respectively. Calig, as mentioned earlier, is on Soldier, and the 4th member of their offense is Wrongerbox on Chemist. So not a lot of regulars today, and the one regular member who has been super consistent for them throughout matches, Calig, as their Medic in the past, is now on Soldier, likely playing the main capping role here and going for the flag, being held off by Frosty EXE, but now supported by Border 96. In fact, Calig is going to be able to get out of this flag room, not on very good health, though. He's on 3.5 hearts with 1 stake left, heading out top, and is being chased by ninjas right now, although they are some distance behind. Pyro's also left the flag room, and Glaze is trying to swap him back to prevent him from getting to the back sponge. Looks like Chalk pearled over, but was not ready for the back sponge to be an option. He's now going to climb up mid, likely going to receive a heal here from Border 96, and now has further support from Recovs trying to get in the way of the offense. We do finally have a first ninja catching up for Team Fallen, but it's not going to be nearly enough at this point in time. Looks like a pretty secure capture for Calig, pending a Team Fallen steal. Speaking of which, we do have some Team Fallen members making it into the flag room right now, waddling around trying to go for the flag, but frozen by AP Literature, who is playing today for TB. Perhaps their first match, I'm not entirely sure, but playing the Mage, which is a class we don't get to see all that often. GXP has made it out of the flag room to stall things a little further. She does not have a lot of support, and a very nice freeze from AP Literature is going to lead to Tireless being able to get the Pyro kill, and a swift 2-0 lead for TB. This is more or less what we expected going into this game. Unfortunately for Team Fallen, as even with a slightly diminished roster, TB is believed to be the much stronger team, but they are putting up a valiant fight so far. We do have another steal now from Chickdee going out the back. He's on Assassin, but will go down as GXP catches up. A 7 kill streak was accrued by Chickdee, though, inside the flag room, and now the rest of his team, his offense, is going into the flag here. Looks like the Pyro there for Team Fallen lagged out, but Male has picked up the flag twice when he hasn't intended to have it, and will likely fall now. Calig is trying to steal, doesn't pick it up immediately, but now Forleb is back in the flag room as a result. However, Calig has been boosted away towards Wronger, who's going to provide him with some much-needed support here. Glaze actually swaps Calig fairly nicely, but it'll allow him, however, to climb up to the top roof. There are ninjas now supporting Calig, and Border was not picked up on the way across the map, so Calig is back to full stake and full health. We do have Glaze again, dutifully chasing on the scout here. Calig taking a bit of a long route across the map. Glaze getting a swap that actually puts Calig closer to some of his teammates, even if it also puts him closer to the recovery. And is just having a little bit of a hard time catching up here on the side of Team Fallen, and I think Calig is going to be able to get to this flag, although he's been isolated by the ninjas. We did see a steal from XXXX. There will be another backup here from Gia, but she's taken down by the Frenzy. Waddling around now picks up the flag, trying to escape the flag room, and does have some support, but has been caught in a corner. Chalk 1 is not able to get the kill, but it does stall briefly for Happy to get a steal. I think this should be the end of things now here, as Calig walks the flag over to the pole, and we have a decisive 3-0 for TB. More or less what we expected going into this game, and not the worst showing in the world from Team Fallen, but definitely a lot of areas to improve on. Now we are going to be moving onto Rundown here. Rundown's a pretty interesting map, to say the least. We've seen it a few times, as mentioned in the recap, so far this year. So interesting map, to say the least, in terms of offense dynamics, as we've got 3 minutes here to see some adjustments. TB are bringing in their Archer, BM5, and removing one of their players as well. I believe that's going to be AP Literature leaving, as we no longer are on Slate, which is a reasonably solid mage map, it's fair to say. Either way, should definitely not be a drop-off in performance for TB. BM5 is known to be pretty strong on this map, and it's a good map overall for Archer, as even though you do have a lot of cover, there are plenty of good lanes here that allow the Archer to get headshots on opponents who, because of the cover, might not be suspecting shots coming through themselves. Now, also important to note on this map, one of the main map dynamics is the path across the roofs over towards the other team's flag room. Makes it a very strong map for Soldier and Elf, although otherwise the dynamics might slightly favor Bulk. As a result, we've seen a lot of teams running even 2 Elves before on here, although the Elf players for TB are not necessarily here today. So we might expect something closer to a standard Soldier offense with Chemist and Medic support. It'll be interesting to see what they go for, though, and what we see from Team Fallen, as they've played this map before as well, and should have some idea of how it's played at the very least. It would be interesting to see some good performances here from XXXX, or XMAS, as they are known today. And interesting to see how GXP does in this Archer matchup as well, as she's definitely not a bad player herself, and someone to look out for in the future as an improving player. Again, though, we should probably expect this to be a pretty swift 4-0 for TB, just based on the relative strengths of these teams. Sometimes, unfortunately, the PvP difference between two teams is just large enough to prevent games from being too competitive. And Team Fallen, they're a new roster, so nothing to be ashamed about so far. But they're mainly here to just do as well as they can, as far as I can tell. With that said, obviously, there's always a chance for a surprise in CTF in terms of teams. Things could go disastrously wrong for TB or very well for Team Fallen if they figure things out over the course of this match. So definitely not a result that should be taken without a game played. Now, we're going to move on here with about 15 seconds left to our match start. I'm curious to see, again, what TB runs on their offense, and if maybe they bring out some fun classes on defense as well. Should be interesting. Should be interesting as well to see how Team Fallen tackles this and see who, if anyone, stands out at the end of this match. So, we're going to be starting off here. We've got waddling around now on Pyro, which means they've swapped Forleb off of the role. Team Fallen in the past have not had all that much in the way of fire presence. Recovs and BM5 went for a steal together. Recov's not able to get it off, though, due to some good play from waddling around. But now BM5 is going to attempt to steal on very low health. Still, with all that chaos caused in the flag room, it's going to allow TB's offense to be able to get over quite freely now. And waddling around is going to have to reset quickly in the flag room. Chickdee's actually going on offense as well, taken down before he's able to get any impact, though. And Snowcold, better known as Vexicle, takes out one of the remaining offense players. Calig is left on 3 hearts. I think we might see TB reset here, but if not, he could just get taken down by Glaze and Vexicle on top of this flag room. Good play from them so far. Wronger is in on Elf, though, not picked up at all across the map, but hit away from the flag by waddling around. Good job there from the Pyra. So actually, TB's first offensive pushes over this last minute have been stifled. On the other side of things, we're going to see Team Fallen's offense cross the map. XXXX is being held up here inside the room by Flays, but Mimi is in the right position to heal off all of that damage. Still, Recovs is on the medic offense. Mimi taking a lot of damage and will go down here as well. Happy goes down to damage additionally, and it looks like BM5 was able to pick up the kill on XXXX with a headshot. So fairly routinely handled there by TB's defense. They are running some classes we don't see their offense on usually, and obviously they're doing their usual roaming thing as well, as Chalk is not able to take down Wronger. TB's getting a big offense group in here, and while Lol was able to get to the flag, a nice assassinate again from Vexicle takes down the heavy, and 2 minutes in rate, we've actually not seen a capture. Now, it is worth noting that TB wants every cap they can get here to be able to maintain first place in the standings. The main tiebreaker between Olympus and TB is going to be map wins, and TB should have an edge on that as they have less maps played so far than Olympus. But even so, if they were to lose against or lose maps against the Rockstars, things might not go well for them if they give up too many caps here. So definitely not an unimportant game here for TB, as Wronger is able to get a steal and get out of the flag room on Elf. He uses a lot of wind, but is able to get up pretty far across the map. But again, completion is pretty important here for TB for their overall tiebreakers. The medic has actually been isolated, and Wronger is caught in the water. Frosty and Vexicle trying to get a lot of damage in. Wronger on 4.5 hearts. The Ninja gets there in time, and Glaze is able to recover just barely. Now, there is a backup steal here from Kalig. Kalig dodging around, waddling around. Recov's there to support and actually kill the Pyro. Good job there from Recovs, roaming up and having an impact. We do see Kalig fall fairly low, but he's got a lot of support, including the medic. The restore did just come through. So TB trying to bring Kalig over to the side of the map. We do see a fair amount of players here trying to get over to Kalig. The wall spam actually just stalling here, as TF were very hesitant to commit to Kalig, and now Border is back with another full heal. However, we do see a steal from XXXX going out far side. No medic there yet, but a lot of Team Fallen support has made it to middle. If he's able to stall for a little longer, we're going to see the heal here from Mimi's Berry. XXXX actually getting back to full health. And now with Recovs in the way, there is always a potential for a quick drop. There is always a potential for headshots, as BM5 is nearly in a firing line. But actually a pretty safe scenario for Team Fallen here, who have managed to get a steal and get XXXX out across the map, as Chickdee, who was undetected, nearly gets the drop-down kill onto X's. But we have reached our first stalemate here in the match, 4 minutes in. Very interesting setup from both teams. Looks like Team Fallen are trying to stack around XXXX. They have provided him with Necro support, something we saw Rox neglect to do yesterday in a 10v10. So they're definitely stacking around the flag holder a fair amount, perhaps even a little bit too much, as Forleb is inside this room as well with an elf. Looks like TB is just going to bring in a lot of bulk to try to get this kill initially. Chickdee has made it in late, but is not able to get the assassinate. Still, the heavy was in there for a long stretch of time, waddling around, was not able to clear out the bulk, and as a result, we did actually see XXXX drop pretty low. There's only so much a medic can do to keep healing damage off because of the cooldown. Chickdee again taken out outside of where the flag holder is, and waddling around as well, though not healed off just yet, was able to kill one of the heavies. BM5 has made it in pretty close, no pressure on him just yet, and he's trying to take out the support. However, a very nice reflect from Forleb knocks BM5 off the map, as you can see him reacting in chat there. He's still alive, putting damage into XXXX, but will go down as well. TB not super coordinated yet so far, but we're not seeing a lot of pressure onto the flag holder on the other side of the map. Kalig so far mostly unpressured from Team Fallen. As a result, we're seeing less and less players committed to him here. Only Tireless and Border 96 are playing around Calig, as Glaze and Frosty EXE alongside Vexicle are presenting a token force at least. Vexicle actually clearing out a fair amount of the support, so Calig has to run, but still should be relatively safe as only Frosty EXE is left there, and Tireless is now back to protect Calig from further damage. We do see headshots from GXP as well, taking out the Pyro, actually, but no one immediately there to follow up as Frosty was being hit around by the TB side. So, 5 minutes in, TF have actually managed to hold off TB for this stretch so far and prevent any further captures. They are stacking very heavily around this flag holder here, XXXX, which again is risky as it means they are only going to have a limited amount of roaming unless they fully commit to protecting the flag holder and turtling here, which they are committing a large amount of players to that role. But that in turn means that maybe they're a little less likely to get a recov themselves on Calig, which is unfortunate for them as they are already down. However, even a tie here would be seen as a pretty good result for Team Fallen, so TB would definitely like to be able to get in and get this recovery so they can maybe open things up in this match. I think odds are definitely still in their favor, but valiant effort from Team Fallen so far, waddling around doing a good job against this bulk as well, as Hayes has been dropped to 2 hearts and will go down. However, the remaining bulk player, Seago, is in and getting a lot of damage off against XXXX, will go down as well. Water did come down from 4lib to add an additional layer of protection, but very nice swap from Recovs, taking X's off the map, and that's just going to be that. Again, Team Fallen not roaming out as much as they probably should have with 5 people committed inside the flag. It's probably going to be the nail in the coffin for them as Lolo has a steal going out far side. Now, this could definitely get recovered on as he's in a fairly vulnerable position, but the support from Rongerbox is actually pretty important here. NG is an underrated support class, I think, and definitely has had an impact here, helping protect Lolo, who was out pretty safely to begin with. Oh, actually does go down to the headshot. Very nice from GXP. Looks like there was a steal on the other side from X's, but Calig has managed to pick up the flag and stall for enough time to get his medic over as well. Good headshots from Gia, though, finding the flag holder in a compromised position. Unfortunate there was no one there to recov. And now, very quickly, 8 minutes into the game, we do have 2 captures for TB. They're opening things up again, and Recovs has actually made it into flag room and killed both support players. Looks like he actually manages to kill Glaze as well, but he's only on 1.5 hearts with this flag. The flag poison just took him down to half a heart. Shows up as 0 for him, and Glaze is just going to pick up the flag there. Unfortunate for Recovs, he did have a valiant individual effort, but eventually, you know, on the health he was on, there were only so many players he could have managed to beat. BM5 has actually roamed up on offense here. I think TB may be looking to bring him in, if not only for headshots, then maybe to look at an Archer cap in the future. Calig has gotten out pretty far thanks to all the support from TB, who I think just want to end the game at this point, because they are not really committing as much as they need to be on defense. Foro does get a steal on the other side, but is taken out, presumably by Hayes here. Calig is pretty safe right now as the medic has reached him. No one on the Archer just yet, but he's likely out of headshot range for the moment, and TF's recovery is in position, but still some distance away. Looks like they're actually going to mob the flag room and go for a steal. XXXX managing to pick up the flag. Doesn't have a medic with him there just yet. Does have necro support, though, which could help him out in the long run. Looks like most of Team Fallen went down in that flag room fight, unfortunately for them. But X's is stalling, still on half a heart. Probably will go down to flag poison here at some near interval. Mimi is trying to make her way over, but there's just too much damage around him. The recovery does come through, and Calig gets the 3rd cap of the game. Now, BM5 has the flag on the other side of the map, as alluded to earlier. I figured he was looking for that Archer cap, but doesn't make it very far. Just gets shot by GXP. Recovs, however, with regen, able to pick up the flag, does go down to Blaze, who cuts his route off very nicely, though. Nice job from the defensive ninja there for Team Fallen. Looks like 4lib does go down, but Frosty EXE has a backup steal as TB left their routes very open here. Going to run into Chickdee and Seago, a very troubling duo for anyone to go into. And Frosty EXE not able to survive very long. Tireless cleans up the backup ninja steal quite nicely with Frenzy. Interesting seeing him, though, on Pyro. Some roster changes for TB have resulted in that role being a little bit depleted, but at the very least, they're not playing Rongerbox, who had a bit of a rough game playing against DF. Now, it looks like Mail is trying to cross the map now on Ninja. Doesn't feel like he has enough health by the looks of it. He's only on 1.5 hearts and will go down to the heavy here. Picked up, though, by Border, who's in the water, does have a lot of support, but in range of a headshot. Headshot does come through. Ronger now has the flag as engineer. It's a pretty speedy class, and if TF don't get over pretty quickly, they're not going to be able to do anything about this. Vexicle picked up, so the insta-kill's not going to be there. Ninjas could drop Ronger Box, but in fact, he's going to pass off to BM5. TB definitely looking for this Archer cap, even if BM5 didn't take the flag very far himself, and that's going to be the end of the game. I think that's honestly the weakest Archer cap I've ever seen, especially considering just how easily BM5 got dropped at the start of it. But hey, good win for TB. Good effort on Rundown from Team Fallen, bringing things to a stalemate and definitely keeping things contested there for a while. But again, unfortunately, we're going to see, unfortunately for Team Fallen, we're going to see TB take out the win and pull things out. So, with that in mind, I think we're going to be looking for an interviewee here if TB are interested in bringing someone over into the call. I know this is going to be recorded, but still would be interesting. So we've got a friendly face here joining the call. It's the inferior Benjamin BM5. Welcome, and congratulations on getting the weakest Archer cap I've ever seen.
Oh my god, we kept messing up the pass, man. We were trying to get the Archer cap. I nearly had the steal, but got headshot by Gia. Rico's got the ninja steal, tried to post straight at me. Lololo picked it up. Didn't realize he had the flag for a bit, so he was running around. Dropped it or died, I don't know. But we kept messing up the pass. Wrong, I kept running away. He wanted the cap, I wanted the cap. Lots of shouting going on.
Yeah, real shame you didn't give it to Wronger. We don't see an engineer cap every day either.
I couldn't let Wintergreen one up me like that, to be honest. Obviously, she Archer capped on TB a couple weeks back, and we couldn't let that happen. So I had to get one back here.
All right, well, I'm not sure that Team Fallen were really aware of that little bit of past history there, but they definitely felt like they put up a good fight on Rundown. Did you guys feel you were having any trouble with certain members on Team Fallen? Anyone stand out to you?
I mean, Gia got quite a few headshots. That was the one that stood out to me. Personally, I didn't notice anyone else, but they got quite a few steals. Know the XXXX is good, like actually like a really competent capper. So that was one we were kind of wary about, and they got a lot of steals, so that was good. And also, they're during the stalemate there on Rundown, they did quite well getting a lot in and putting a lot of pressure on us there.
Yeah, it did feel like they were running a lot of people on defense as well. So it was interesting to see them actually compete for a little while in that stalemate and do reasonably well. Mm-hmm. With that said, though, I was interested in your offense today and how things were shaken up. Interesting to see Kalig back on Soldier, which is a role I know he's played before, but he's been medic for you guys for a while. And then Mail as well, playing offense for the first time in a while, was interesting to see. How did you guys feel that went? Did those guys feel they were comfortable on those roles?
Yeah, I think it went well. With Kalig, we usually have him on medic, and he actually prefers medic nowadays, but we had both him and Jake available. Jake's obviously a very good medic, and Kalig, great on Soldier and Elf as well, so we decided to shake it up a little bit. Obviously, you saw Kalig get, I think, all 3 caps on Slate, which was nice to see. And yeah, lol on Heavy, he's just recently been unbanned. Nice to see him get a few games in again, and obviously he did well, clearing the flag room and stuff.
Yeah. Now, you've got one more match coming up. It's going to be against the Roxorcies, who we expect to be a little bit more of a competitive opponent than Team Fallen, with all due respect to them. Are you guys preparing at all for that match, or coming up with any fun strategies that we might expect to see?
In terms of fun strategies, you never know what happens in matches, but I don't think we'll see quite what we saw on here. In terms of preparation, maybe we'll try practice and stuff. Although our PPMs tend not to get too many sign-ups, unfortunately. But if the time's right, then we can try that. But yeah, we're definitely expecting quite a tough match, Rocks. They've really got themselves together this season, become quite a force. So should be interesting to see.
Yeah, especially after that game this week they played against Citrix, where they kept things close up until the third match.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
Actually, a match that we might have not have looked at as very competitive at the start of the year, but Rocks have definitely stepped up. So looking forward to that, and best of luck to TB in that match. We may not be able to see the quad NG in that match, unfortunately. I don't know how that works with limits exactly, but always interesting to see some of the stuff you guys try. So again, congratulations on the win. Congrats to everyone on TB. And I think we're going to wrap things up with the interview there. Thank you, Ben.
I appreciate it.
All right, so that brings us to a close on our recording there. Thanks again to both teams. It was a pretty entertaining match, and we're just going to wrap up on the player of the game today. I think I've seen some requests for AP literature, but with all due respect, they did only play one match, and we do kind of have to give it to someone who was there the entire game today. So, with that in mind, I think I'm just going to hand that player of the game off to Colleague, doing a very good job in his first game back in a while on Soldier. So, congratulations to Mr. Calligraphy Paper on that player of the game. So, with that all wrapped up, it's been an enjoyable match, and we'll see you back before too long, in real time at the very least, for Olympus playing the final match of this week against the Crusaders. So see you guys then, and hope you enjoyed the match.